Continuing on with the idea of the pelvis being in conversation with the abdominals, we're looking at an exercise now. What we want to do is we want to keep this hip exactly where it is. We don't want to let it drift backwards or forwards. And we're going to use the knee to come up in a clam type action. So this knee here stays where it is. The ankles stay connected. Okay? Try this exercise for me. So the ankles stay together.
Jeez, let's start it again.
No, this is great. This is great. Because people at home are going to forget the same, right? People at home are going to forget the same. Ankles stay together, knees come apart, really, really slowly down. Because after about 10 of these, I'm going to ask you where you're feeling it working. Okay?
Okay, I'm feeling my glutes already.
Feeling good. Whereabouts are you good? Point to us.
Here.
Yes, great.
Okay.
This is a really good exercise because we are getting the glute to work against gravity. So gravity is working down against this knee, the weight of the leg, and we're slowly controlling the effect of gravity. So what we don't want is we don't want it to slap down, okay? And you're doing this really, really well. You're keeping neutral in the pelvis. And also what we're not doing is we're not letting that hip go backwards or go forwards. Now, to make that trickier, what you can use is again one of your bands, okay? You can give yourself resistance with the band, but you will need something which stretches here, okay? And you pick these up really, really commonly. You can get them on the internet. How's this feeling now? Fatiguing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it a bit in the inner thigh.
Yep.
But mainly still here.
Good. Now,
Actually, it's going down my hamstring now.
down your hamstring?
Yeah.
Okay. Try for me now, bringing your heels up towards your hips. Good. See if that changes it. Good. Change where it's working from at all.
It's not going down my hamstring.
It's not going down your hamstring as much. Again, that hamstring, what the hamstring is going to want to do is it's going to want to switch on and help you. So your hamstring is trying to be really, really helpful. So it's grabbing onto the knee because it's like, yep, I want to help, I want to give you support. But actually what you don't want that. You don't want the hamstring to kick in and get fatigued and go into a spasm. We want the side arch muscles to kick in and work again. This is another variation. This can be a nice warm-up for your other exercises, or it can actually be a great standalone exercise. Or after you've done the other exercises, you might come back and you might be fatigued. This might be a nice one to do while you're having a relax and doing the other set. Because really this should only take maximum 15 minutes. You should fatigue your hips and switch on your abdominals in 15 minutes max. What you want to be doing is we'll be adding on exercises that are trickier, and if you want resistance with the band as well. Getting tired? Mm-hmm. Feel that? And now, yeah, can you see a little bit of shakiness happening now? There's a little bit of shakiness when we're coming down. It's a sign of fatigued. So this is a different angle here that we're showing here. This is an exercise called the Clam. It's another one that we're looking to use to switch on that side glute. So this is really looking at rotation here. So you're looking to keep that hip exactly where it is. The knee is going to move up and down. The ankles are going to stay stuck together. And what you might want to do is if the hamstring's kicking in, you might want to use the heels to come up towards your head a little bit more. Do you want to go ahead and show people at home this exercise? Great.
Really slowly?
Really slow. Really slow. Thanks for reminding me. And what we're looking to do here is we're looking for really gentle up and down, really slowly up and down, because this is about control endurance. It's not about building strength. It's not about building power. Okay, if we're doing that, we're talking about squats, we're talking about explosive lifting. This is about trying to re-pattern the endurance that we have in the hip here. Where do you feel this working, Juliet?
I feel it in my glutes.
Great.
At the front of my hip.
Okay, so notice that's maybe kicking on a little bit, the hip at the front a little bit. Try, can you adjust your neutral pelvis there? Can you tuck in a little bit? Yeah, because what this is good for is you're not using your core muscles to stabilize so much, but that means that they won't necessarily need to kick on as much.
That's much better.
Yeah, good. So what you've done at home there, just to emphasize, is you've done a little bit of that, right? You've kind of tucked your pelvis in. So this is what I'm talking about, which is the functional benefit of being able to tilt your pelvis, okay? This isn't functional for your day-to-day life, but being able to do it when you're sitting in a chair, walking around, standing for any length of time, that's really, really important. Yeah. So just to let you know as well, you're going to do this for as long as it takes for you to fatigue this muscle. And a good sign you're fatiguing is that this starts to get juddery. So it starts to kind of shudder a little bit when it's coming down.
I feel a little bit in my hamstring.
Your hamstring. Try bringing the heels up towards you, because often, and I would say heels and back a little bit, because what your hamstrings are going to want to do is kick in and give you support, which is fine, but we don't want that. How's that feeling?
Yeah, better.
Too easy now? A little bit. Because what you're doing when you're moving the ankles a little bit, you're changing the angles. Now, one thing to look at, I didn't say this before. Yeah, that's a really good example. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you see how this knee here is starting to almost kind of shift backwards? That's a sign that the hips and the pelvis are starting to tilt this way as well. So a good trick here is if you bring that knee out, so it's level when I'm looking down that way, or you can see from there, or even bring it an inch further. Great. And try a little tiny bit further for me. Good. Now try a few like that. So coming back to that.
So this looks further out than the
Yes,
other one.
exactly. It's okay. Then we want to just try this to see how it looks and how it feels. Because
that actually feels sturdier.
Yeah, and like you're getting more activation from where? From whereabouts are you getting more activation?
My glutes.
Great. There's a nice trick that I advise people to do. Go on.
I actually feel a bit in my abdomen as well.
Kicking on a bit more? Yeah. Because commonly what will happen with people as they're repeating this exercise, the knee will start to migrate back this way because your body wants to do things the easiest way possible and the way that it knows how to use the same patterning that it's used over and over again. You want to use the muscles which are dominant because they are strong. The point of this exercise is to build control endurance in the muscles you don't have it. Does that make sense? So you're trying to reprogram what's here. Does that make sense? Brilliant. Now, if you've been doing this for a few weeks, you're going to get pretty strong. You're going to want to then start to bring in a bit of resistance using a band or something like this because your glutes will strengthen up. So that's where you do want to go find one of these bands, which you'll get pretty easy. So we're back doing the clam from a different angle. So just to set it up this way here, what we're looking for is we're looking for the knees to be equal with each other. So Juliet's able to see along down the line of the knees. So every time she brings her knees back together again, they want to be like a book. The other one even. So rather than one being sitting forward or backwards, and the shoulders want to be stable. The thing you want to look at here, this purple bolster is around about the right size for Juliet. We don't want her head to be on an angle upwards or falling downwards. We want the spine to be straight and level and long. Okay, you feeling comfortable? Good?
Good.
Go ahead, show us the clam.
So ankles together.
Ankles together, knees coming apart. And from this angle here, you can see the real slow and controlled movement. The more you do regularly, the better. And also you human beings with busy lives. The more you can do 5 or 10 minutes of these exercises, the more you're going to be able to switch your muscles on and we've all got stuff happening in your lives.
It's a really good one for my lower back when it's sore.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good. You feel it switching on through the glute?
Yeah.
That's what we want to do. You want to just remind the glute over and over again that it's there and it can switch on because the glute tends to switch off. Okay? So just regularly switch the glutes on. It helps to control the overtone of the back muscles in the hips, because what we're looking at is giving you something that's doable for 5 or 10 minutes a day, even every second day. That's reminding those big muscles which are switching off that we can use them, and it gives you stability, gives you functional movement.